Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Straight from our studio in Washington, D.C., we have Abu Shatil, the producer of our show. And in Columbia, South Carolina, here is Dr. Patrick Ngula. Straight from, I think, Robert Amsterdam, you were in Turkey. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, it's Bob Amsterdam. I'm in Istanbul right now, and obviously watching with great concern what's going on in Tanzania from my friend and client Tundu Lissu.
Recently we have seen a couple of the open letters. They're coming from your office, and then we know that you have retained Honorable Tundu Lissu as your client. What exactly you want to tell the Tanzanians about your great concern about your client?
Well, look, I mean, Tundu, as you know, was shot and almost killed 3 years ago. A week after his shooting, his lawyer's office was firebombed. The behavior of the government of Tanzania has been condemned far and wide concerning their repression of human rights. And Tundu's return to Tanzania was an incredibly brave act, motivated by putting love of country above concerns for himself. And he is now the Chadema nominee. We hope this week he should be without incident confirmed to run for the presidency. But we have, as we've written in our letters, we have tremendous concern that the government is conspiring with various agents to attempt to quash his ability to run.
So, with respect to quash his ability to run, and we have seen you have written an email letter, an open letter on August 22nd of this year, and that email you have addressed to one of the top government Tanzanian official, His Excellency John Magufuli, the President of United Republic of Tanzania, and also the Honorable Ibrahim Hamis Juma, Chief Justice of the United Republic of Tanzania. Have you received any response from that letter from the legal counsel from those two officers?
No, I have not. And you know, frankly, I'm not expecting to. You know, we're writing because we're not going to ask any Tanzanian to take the risk to write these letters, because Tanzanians who attempt to stand up to this government are targeted for vicious abuse. So it is, we're in a situation really where, as a foreigner, I need to write these letters because we have to protect the very brave lawyers in Tanzania who have already been persecuted, whose offices have been firebombed, and who have suffered tremendously at the hands of this government. I mean, we also need to remind ourselves of all of the businessmen, members of the church, and others who are still locked away in jail in Tanzania with the keys seemingly missed and with very little hope of freedom. What's going on in Tanzania today is a frightening spectacle of repressive government activity, not just obviously against Tundu, but against the populace as a whole. And I truly urge the people of Tanzania to stand up to this type of abuse under President Magufuli.
So, with respect to the what you have just alluded a few minutes ago, walk us through the if there's any legal implication or consequences with this administration with international community. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, look, you know, the international community is heavily involved in Tanzania, and what's important to understand that I frankly don't think the president or others in Tanzania may be aware of, which is that in the last year, the U.S. government and the British government, through relations between themselves and also in their mutual adoption of Magnitsky legislation, now allows for international sanctions against individuals anywhere in the world who violate human rights. So there is now, if you will, global policemen, not just in the United States, but in England, and not just in England, but at the UN and others, who can apply sanctions to individuals, not just to governments. So there is no impunity, no matter how much the president may now be appointing judges or appointing members to electoral commissions. These people need to know that they cannot hide behind their relationship with the president, that they are individually obligated to perform under the rule of law. And if they don't, we can seek remedies against them personally.
So, can you expand a little bit about Magnitsky law? And you just touched a little bit about individuals. The Magnitsky law can also apply to the government institution?
It can apply to the individuals in these institutions, yes. And, you know, the Magnitsky law comes from the Russian legal situation, where individuals in Russia stole assets and jailed people illegally. And I myself was arrested in Russia in 2005. And I will tell you that just like the people who arrested me, there were many government folks who believed that they had impunity and immunity from the world watching them. And in fact, they killed somebody. This guy named Magnitsky was murdered in jail, and murdered because of a lack of medical assistance. And that led to his employer lobbying the United States to adopt a law, in fact, globally, not just the United States, Canada, England, and other countries, to adopt a law to take on directly individuals in repressive countries who violate human rights. So that's why I'm saying to those people in Tanzania, and believe me, there are people in Tanzania today who were involved in the shooting of Tundu Lissu, and there is nowhere for them to hide. And this is something the government needs to understand. If they take action against Tundu in this situation, it will not just bring the international community to attention in terms of this election, but it will raise the specter of who shot him 3 years ago and why we never had a proper investigation. So there are a lot of skeletons in these closets in Tanzania. So there's a lot riding on this election and the necessity to have it open and free, even though today Tanzania has denied the international community to have observers. So you have to ask yourself, if they're being denied observers, what is Magufuli intending to do in this election? What is he so ashamed of that he can't have observers present? What crime is he intending to commit? What do we have to do as citizens of a democracy, whether it's Tanzania or any other country, to stand up and demand that our rights are respected? And that's all these letters we've been sending to Tanzania are trying to do. It's trying to tell the people in the streets of Tanzania that they have rights, and that those people who are attempting to steal those rights don't have the power they pretend to have. And I'll tell you, my experience in East Africa, representing Bobi Wine in Uganda, representing President Banda of Zambia, demonstrates that when people stand up, there is no government that can withstand that pressure. So now is the time for the people of Tanzania to stand up and not allow this kind of brutality and intimidation to continue.
So let me take you back now to your client with respect to his safety, because what we heard couple days ago that the Inspector General of Police has not yet providing security service for your client Tundu Lissu as the Chadema candidate. So what are you sending a message to Tanzania?
Let me say this: they've shown up. Since that letter, the police have shown up. Since that letter, within a day of that letter, the police have shown up. So I am going to be very careful about what I say because we appreciate that they have shown up. Now, of course, we have to appreciate and hope that they do their jobs properly, but we're gratified that they showed up and they're starting to provide Tundu with security because, as you know, a massive number of Tanzanians have come out to see him over the last number of days.
Thank you very much, Mr. Robert Amsterdam, for joining us straight from Turkey. We really appreciate it for taking your time. And what we'll do, we as Swahili Villa Online TV will distribute this message to the Tanzanians, and then I hope the Tanzanian government will receive this message in a very positive way. But to end our programs, can you just tell us, just in short, do you think you were recommending for maybe to sit on the table with the Tanzanian government and negotiating a peace talk and to bring justice? What do you think about that, the second alternative?
Well, look, I will tell you, I think, right now to start talking peace talks would be ahead of ourselves. Let's first see if Tundu gets properly nominated, and let's see if the government is going to act responsibly or how they will act. But what I would ask you to do is to please play the interview both in English and Swahili.
We'll do that. Please do. We'll do that, and we really appreciate it for taking your time. And you are welcome again to join with us anytime. And we really appreciate it again and again and again. Thank you, Mr. Amsterdam.
Well, my pleasure. Please get it out quickly.
We'll do that today.
Thank you.